What is up, everybody? So Donald Trump's campaign team hired Ken Block's data firm to investigate potential voter fraud. Now, Ken Block's work can be used to help prosecute Donald Trump. There was an interview posted yesterday, January 2nd, to rollingstone.com, and it is linked in the description below. The headline states, "Trump's voter fraud investigator, we proved there was no fraud." It states that when former President Donald Trump lost the 2020 election, he hired Ken Block's data mining firm to try and find evidence to help back up the wild allegations Trump and his campaign were making about voter fraud. Instead, Block found none, and now his work could be used to help prosecute Donald Trump. This is a quote from the interview. "I've received subpoenas from both Jack Smith's federal investigation into potential crimes related to January 6th and also Fani Willis's investigation of potential election crimes committed in Georgia." That's what Block told Rolling Stone in the interview. "All of my work and all of my work product for the campaign is in the hands of both of those investigations, and the totality of the work shows and proves there was no voter fraud found." Trump's campaign hired Ken Block's firm shortly after the election as it was trying and failing to investigate 15 different categories of voter fraud claims with the goal of finding evidence it could use in court. A new opinion piece published yesterday on January 2nd, Block and his firm found only a tiny amount of voter fraud spread almost equally between the Democratic and Republican voters. None of it, he wrote, was significant enough to have affected the election. Those findings were communicated to the top of Trump's campaign apparatus, Block now says in an interview. As Trump's campaign struggled to vet voter fraud claims, campaign staff briefed White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. Meadows in turn eventually told Trump himself in December of 2020 that the voter fraud allegations from top campaign attorney Rudy Giuliani were all bogus. The Trump campaign leveraged a number of false voter conspiracy theories to fuel its litigation effort to overturn election results, including a December 2020 lawsuit against Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. But Block says even as some in the Trump campaign were eager to pursue the most outlandish theories, his firm's methodical work disproving voter fraud claims helped block multiple lawsuits. "We stopped lawsuits whose foundation was terrible data. Even as many in the campaign pressed ahead with wild conspiracy claims, the non-reckless side of the campaign did conduct due diligence, wanted to know the honest truth about the data and what it told us. And they did the right thing in communicating that information up the chain." Ken Block's book, Disproven, is scheduled for release in March, and he says the memoir of his work of the 2020 campaign also contains data on why Donald Trump lost the election. There is data now available and shows exactly why Donald Trump lost the election, he says. "I did that analysis. I have the results. A lot of people will be very surprised by what is, in effect, a very logical reason why he lost." That book's going to be a very interesting read. Whether you're going to believe what's in it or not, it's going to be extremely interesting to see what Ken Block actually states caused Donald Trump the election. What do you think of the findings that Ken Block's team state they found that say there was no data fraud? Or in fact, they say there was a little data fraud, but spread evenly amongst both sides of the fence, on both Democrats and Republicans. They cheated equally, so essentially it cancels everybody out. What do you think? Let me know. Leave some comments below. I hope you're having a good day, and I will see you again soon.